Hi guys, thanks for tuning into our channel. Today we are going to be talking about super investors or gurus. So one of the things that we really experienced when we first got started with investing is that there is heaps of information out there, lots of different resources and books, and sometimes it can be overwhelming just getting started.
Absolutely. So one of the questions we get a lot is how do we start building a watch list of stocks that we want to invest in? And one of the easiest ways is looking to copy what the investors that we follow are doing. They've got teams of analysts, they're some of the best in the world, and they'll give you pretty good ideas on what companies are undervalued and ones that we should take a much deeper look at.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I'm Sam, this is Chris. Our channel is all about building wealth and financial freedom through a three-part strategy. Earn more, spend less, and invest the rest. All right, Chris, let's dig in. We're talking about super investors or gurus. So how do we get started in identifying who it is that we want to follow and pay attention to and trust?
Yeah, well, we're looking for investors who have a concentrated portfolio. This means that most of their portfolio, money-wise, is in 7, 8 stocks, less than 10. And that means that they're really digging in deep to their investments. They are looking at them from every angle and figuring out, what price they should be, what's a fair value for them, and buying at that price. One thing you have to be afraid of is investors that have hundreds of shares. They're really just trying to track the market. They're obviously not able to do this deep dive into 250 stocks. So those are the ones we want to stay away from.
So if we look at professional investors as a whole, are the majority having small portfolios, or are the majority having these really big portfolios like you just mentioned with hundreds of investments in different companies?
Well, the majority are definitely going to have these large portfolios of hundreds of stocks. So we want to pick the few that really have this concentrated portfolio. They've had a successful track record for 10 years, and they're doing the things that we generally find successful in investing. So just to name a couple, Warren Buffett is probably the greatest investor of our time.
Course.
He has a fairly concentrated portfolio of 6, 7 stocks that are the majority of the value of his portfolio. So there's a couple others. We look at Seth Klarman, Monish Pabrai, and more. And we'll kind of dig into more of these throughout different videos. But yeah, just to give a brief list, those are the ones we're following.
Okay, fantastic. So obviously having that smaller portfolio is a key differentiator for the types of gurus that we're going to follow.
Well, when we say smaller portfolio, it's definitely a smaller number of stocks, but they can be quite large portfolios.
Okay, good.
Warren Buffett's portfolio, is at half a $1 trillion.
Right.
So
It's
not exactly small.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we know kind of the types of people that we're looking for. How do you actually know what they're up to and what they're doing? Where can you find this information?
That's a good question. So the SEC requires you, if you're managing a portfolio over $100 million, which all the guys I've named are, to report their holdings at the end of every quarter. So we don't know exactly what they're doing at the time they're doing it, but we will know at the end of every 3 months what's in their portfolio. And this is all public information on the SEC Edgar site, which is a terrible site to navigate, but you can do it. So if you were going to use SEC Edgar, you could go into each quarter, look at how the portfolio is changing, and you can get an idea of what stocks they were trading in that quarter, and then just try to make a guess of when they would have made those purchases throughout that quarter. There's also a lot of websites that will compile this information. Whale Wisdom is a free site that compiles all this, and you can easily go on, find some gurus that you like, and see what trades they're making every quarter.
And is it true, I want to circle back to what we were talking about before, which is finding gurus that share your investing values and use, you said they would use similar techniques to us to determine if they want to invest in a company. Do you find that most of the gurus that we follow are public and forthcoming about their investment strategy? Like, is it something they'll talk about in interviews, or they publish books, things like this?
Absolutely. One of the best pieces of information that we get every 3 months or every year really is Warren Buffett's letter to investors. He doesn't do a lot outside of that as far as specifics, but he gives you a lot of information that yearly letter to kind of give you an idea of what he does, what kind of tools he uses and his methodology. And he's been doing that since, I don't know, 1967, sort of when he took over Berkshire Hathaway. So.
Yeah, this is true. Reading those letters is some of Chris's favorite reading that he loves to do. So, okay, Chris, are there anything else that we've forgotten to talk about, or anything else when it comes to copying or taking inspiration from the gurus that you think a beginning investor should know?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just a way to get ideas. You need to put in your own work. You shouldn't just buy something because somebody else is doing that.
Yeah.
You need to understand why the stock is a good opportunity, a good investment. You need to understand its competitive advantages. You need to understand its future earning potential. You need to be able to put your own fair value on it, and you need to buy it for a discount to that fair value. So don't just copy these guys or gals, but it is a good place to get some ideas, get some inspiration.
All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment below. Remember, earn more, spend less, and invest the rest. And we'll see you next time.